So we've had an update to the rankings, a much needed update to the rankings, and I want to deal with them, and I want to send a message to the UFC because I suspect somebody at the UFC is going to come up with some bright idea about how they should match Natalia Silva against Karine Silva. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's a part of me that can smell it coming. Don't do that. That seems exactly like something that they would do. Just to be mischievous and low down. I think they should avoid each other. And they should be matched up against other fighters. Because they might be the last unranked fighters to become ranked and, actually do well as a ranked fighter. Jasmine Jasudavicius was pushed out of the rankings, and rightfully so. Okay, Karine Silva is stopping everybody she fights. Nobody is going the distance with her. That's noteworthy. Now, Natalia Silva's fight against Andrea Lee, I suspect, doesn't get the full amount of respect because Andrea Lee is a pretty good fighter. It's not easy to just walk through or stop Andrea Lee. So expectations might have been unrealistically high, even though I think it's very realistic and possible for Natalia Silva, to have stopped Andrea Lee. But this is her first fight against a ranked fighter, big stage. Nothing to really complain about. I feel like that was a dominant performance by Silva, even though she was not really going for the kill. You see, I mentioned how Karine Silva seems scarier than Natalia Silva, but Natalia Silva is more athletic, definitely got better speed, and better abilities. Those kicks, she's a athletic specimen, Natalia Silva. But Karine Silva goes for the finish. Like, she's always looking for an opportunity to take you out. And if she is not putting you in a submission, if it's not a submission, then she's probably knocking you down with strikes. So they're both very dangerous. Both of these fighters. And now they're ranked. Karine Silva is number 15. Natalia Silva number 13. Man, and Andrea Lee just got pushed all the way out of the rankings. Remember, she was ranked at number 13. Right? It was Andrea Lee, Tracy Cortez, Jasmine Jasudavicius. So they didn't move her down one spot, didn't move her down two spots. And it makes sense because Karine Silva's doing a lot better than Andrea Lee. And some people feel like Tracy Cortez should have been pushed out. I don't know how serious she is about her career, but she doesn't seem hungry to me. Tracy Cortez does not seem like she's on a mission to be a champion. So good for Natalia Silva and Karine Silva. And I think that pretty much establishes the flyweight division as the most entertaining, most interesting division. I mean, I got to be honest. The only thing that's really making strawweight, more interesting than usual is Tatiana Suarez being there. And the possible matchup between Suarez and Weili Zhang. Now, don't get me wrong. Weili can lose to Yan Xiaonan. Yan has a chance. I just think chances are very high that Yan gets wrestled to death and either beaten up for 5 rounds or stopped. Very high. She had too much of a difficult time stopping Carla from taking her down and getting back up to her feet. So it's hard to imagine Yan being able to deny Weili her ground game, her wrestling. Very hard to imagine that. Amanda Lemos couldn't even stop that. Y'all remember Mizuki Inoue was trying to wrestle Lemos, and Lemos' takedown defense was good enough to not only stuff a bunch of takedowns, but to get back to her feet. Okay, so, other than Tatiana Suarez, there's not all that much intrigue at 115. There's nothing really to be fascinated about. Karine Silva, Natalia Silva, they are intriguing because they haven't lost yet in the UFC, and they're looking extremely dominant in the UFC. Now, contrast that with how well several of the other fighters in the division are doing. Tracy Cortez, I think right now she's more hyped than anything. She has one foot in the Paige Van Zandt sector, see. But Macy Barber is looking pretty good, okay. Look like she might be getting better. Jennifer Maia is on a win streak. Okay, she won her most recent fight. She about to take on Araujo. I don't think they'll be title contenders, but who knows? Lauren Murphy, of course, an easy fight for a lot of girls. And, Natalia Silva or Karine Silva will probably kill Lauren Murphy. That'll probably be the first female fatality inside the octagon. Jessica Andrade, Chikagian, Taylor Santos. Yeah, that's a hot addition to the division. She's going to fight Erin Blanchfield this weekend, right? I think it's this weekend. And Erin Blanchfield, of course, a hot prospect. Manon, a hot prospect. Got Valentina Shevchenko there. And Alexa Grasso. Okay, Strawweight. Weili and Suarez, the most interesting fighters at that division. Weili successfully defended her title, and we might be looking at the beginning of a long title run for Weili. Who knows? But she's looking better. She's looking like a veteran. She has a lot of control over her opponents. And Weili very tricky. You see that first takedown she got on Lemos. I don't think Lemos saw that coming. She didn't expect that. Just grabbed her leg and took her down. That was a pretty dominant, very dominant performance by Weili. Understand, it was not based on striking, but it was a mauling where she just mauled Lemos to death. Now, I thought Lemos would be able to get back to her feet, keep the fight standing, to a significant degree. But that was not the case at all. So, you can imagine, Yan is going to get the same treatment, and Rose might be trying to avoid that treatment, and Carla, let's not even talk about Carla. The only real threat right now is Tatiana Suarez, because Weili can't just go and just be taking Suarez down like that. That's a bad idea, That might be a bad idea. You want to test out your wrestling. That's Tatiana Suarez. You heard Daniel Cormier mention that she's a world-class wrestler. That's a step above. That's a notch above these national wrestlers, right? So it's a different ball game. So what will Weili do? Keep the fight standing? Gonna try to piece Tatiana up? She gonna stuff Tatiana's takedowns? Don't know what's gonna happen. That's another fight where you don't know what's gonna happen. A submission can come out of anywhere. Lemos could have submitted Weili this past weekend. Okay? If she would have got the right position on that choke, she could have choked Weili out. Anything can happen in a fight, man. You gotta understand that. That punch Lemos landed, I think, in the second round, snapped Weili's head back, just clobbered her with a straight punch. Man, that could have knocked Weili out. Anything can happen in a fight. And you also notice Weili has been moved up in the pound for pound list. And now she's above Valentina Shevchenko. Some people feel like she should be above Alexa Grasso as well, especially seeing that Grasso has not made a successful title defense yet. But Grasso gets that credit for beating a strong champion. That's where that's coming from. Well, Weili took the belt back from Carla. Grasso took the belt from Valentina, which was not supposed to happen. So I don't too much have a problem with Grasso still being the number one pound-for-pound fighter. You should get a little extra credit for stopping Valentina. But things are heating up. And boy, the pressure is mounting for Valentina Shevchenko. She has to deliver. She cannot afford to lose this rematch. Now, if she loses, is she going to continue fighting? Does that seem realistic for Shevchenko to continue fighting now as a contender? Will her pride stop her from doing that? Where it's a Joanna situation where it's like, look, if I'm not the champion and if I'm not fighting for the title, then I don't want to fight at all. Will Valentina go down that path? Will she just up and retire? Hey, I don't have it anymore. This fight was the fight to see if I still had it. I don't have it. Okay, but man, Alexa Grasso is coming into the rematch with a lot of confidence. She's coming into the rematch with confidence that none of Shevchenko's previous opponents had. And I don't know how Valentina's going to deal with that. I don't know how she's going to respond to that. Grasso is coming into the fight with the confidence of a person who's already defeated you. That's a different type of edge to have over your opponent. I've already whooped you. I've already dealt with your stand-up. Already dealt with your speed. And I kept walking you down the whole night. Okay? Your skill set wasn't enough to keep me off of you. And I'm going to do it again. Now, Grasso has said she's going to either stop, that she wants to stop Shevchenko again. Submission or knockout. Now, that's a mouthful because Grasso actually landed flush shots on Valentina. And Shevchenko was wobbled in that first round. So even though Valentina might look at that type of talk from Grasso as lip service, Valentina has to understand that Grasso has legitimate reason to say or believe that she can knock her out. Like, yeah, I'm going to knock you out because I connected on you more than once in the first fight and even wobbled you. So yeah, next time in the rematch, I'm going to knock you out. So I don't know how Valentina, it's going to take all the mental strength Valentina can muster to get her through this fight and to get her the victory. I never thought I'd be saying this, but Valentina, she need a A-level performance in this fight. A-level. She can't afford to barely get by Grasso. No. And another thing, she need a A-level performance to send a message to the competitors. You know, try to calm them down. Because right now, they are more confident than they've ever been. Remember, not long ago, none of them wanted to fight Valentina for the most part. Now, all of them can't wait to get a piece. If Valentina has the belt, them girls they can't wait. They're going to be dying to get their hands on Valentina. Okay, so Valentina is in for a different career now. When you have this aura of invincibility, it makes your fights easier. It tends to make your fights easier because your opponents don't fight with as much confidence as they'd have if they've seen you exposed already. Now, Shevchenko's about to fight fighters who have seen her exposed or vulnerable. So she's going to have to deal with more aggression. Which is crazy because Valentina, she can retire. She doesn't even need to do this. It's like, why continue? She's made more title defenses than Joanna, and you see Joanna is still living well. You might wonder, Valentina might get more sponsors than Joanna. She could easily retire and spare herself the possible embarrassment of getting beat up a whole bunch of times, taking a lot of losses like Joanna did before you retire. So she got a lot to think about. You know, she could retire after, let's say she loses the rematch. That would be the perfect time to retire because she could say, hey, I don't have it no more. It was like I aged overnight. Okay, especially if she doesn't look like her old self. Like, hey, y'all saw it yourself. I didn't look like the same fighter because I wasn't the same fighter. Had a long career, and now it's time to hang them up. People will sort of give Valentina a pass for those 2 losses. Okay, and if she decides to fight on, like I said, she could end up like Joanna, have 5 losses, 2 victories, and then you decide to retire. So a lot to think about. Big decisions need to be made depending on what happens in the rematch. But we will see. Much anticipated rematch. You say Weili could target Tatiana's legs and snap her legs. Valentina should train with Weili. Oh, no. No, I don't think Valentina would want to do that. Yeah. Tatiana is, she dangerous because she's so confident in herself. You know, she's real confident in herself. She sat back and she saw something that gave her a lot of confidence, where she's saying, hey, I'm about to take the belt and I'm going to make a bunch of title defenses. And so far, she's winning. So we'll see if she can pull that off. But, oh, yeah, Lemos was definitely tired in that fight. After the first round, Lemos was, like, very gassed. I don't think she expected that much wrestling. Lemos expected a lot more striking, I believe. And I think they were prepared for striking. That's why she was able to hit Weili. Looked like they trained on those straight shots. Weili have shown to be vulnerable too. But no, and that's the thing. That's going to make it harder to train for Weili. You don't know what she's going to do. She's going to be a striker. You got to prepare for everything. And there's a lot of things that Weili knows that I don't think she's shown yet. So there's still a lot of tricks up her sleeve. So she might be a real strong champion. Weili might turn out to be a long reigning champion who might even break Joanna's record. We'll see. If she does that at a time like now, man, she will easily go down as the greatest strawweight ever. Easily. Right? But aside from that, I ain't excited about Weili having a rematch with Carla. Not even really with Rose, but that is a much needed rematch. We'll see how Rose does. They may not even fight in the same division after this. Lemos, no. Andrade, no. Verna, and see, the strawweight division is starting to dwindle away. The top portion of it. These girls are looking tired and worn out. They're having doubts about themselves. Okay, but the unranked fighters, they're not really showing up like the flyweights. Like Jacqueline Amora had a lot of promise. Former champion. You know, she has not looked dominant like Karine Silva and Natalia Silva. Yasmin Jauregui just got knocked out. Just got knocked out by a fighter who lost to Loma Lookboonmee. Okay, so she's not doing as well as either of the Silvas either. So there's nobody really at strawweight. Jillian Robertson too. Lost. There's no real intrigue at strawweight. These strawweights are starting to age now. They've lost that newness about them. And the unranked fighters are struggling. They're not doing too well. Strawweight losing fire. It's low. The fire in the flyweight division is high, and that's where it's at, the flyweight division. So we'll see what happens in the future. I think Suarez is going to eventually go back to 125, most likely. So I just wanted to hop on here and talk about that. I will leave it there and see you on the next live stream.